Here's everything we had for dinner this week. So we usually try to do meatless Mondays. I think it's good to have a variety of protein, plant-based or otherwise, and I get to use all the veggies that I have in the fridge. I am making pasta primavera. I'm using a zucchini, some asparagus, broccoli, peas, and don't worry, the link to all the recipes are in the description box below. You can use any veggies and cut it however you like. I would highly suggest using onion, garlic, and the zest and juice of 1 lemon. I like using chickpea pasta because it has protein and is also pretty high in fiber. This is my favorite brand. I just cook it per box directions. Once the pasta is done, it is very important that you rinse it with cold water. Don't skip that step. Next, drizzle about a tablespoon of olive oil and cook the onion for about 4 minutes. Add a little pinch of salt in there as well. And now I'm just going to add some lemon zest and some red pepper flakes. That's optional, by the way. You can skip it if you're cooking for the little ones. Next, I am going to add the broccoli because that's going to take the longest to cook. After about 2 minutes, add the asparagus. Also add a splash of broth in there just to get it going. Add a little pinch of salt in there. Now set that to the side and add the zucchini. That won't take long to cook. It's also important that you don't overcook the veggies. It should still have a bite to it. Add some frozen peas, and after about a minute or so, add some minced garlic, then add another splash of broth. Next, I'm going to add the pasta, fold that in with the veggies, add some salt, pepper, Italian seasoning, or whatever you like, some lemon juice to your liking, and toss together. Add some more broth as needed. You can also add cream if you like. So earlier, I forgot to record this. I just cut some grape tomatoes in half, add a drizzle of olive oil, some minced garlic, salt, and pepper, and just set it to the side. And now I'm just going to add it at the end. I think this gives it a freshness that I like. And now you can add as much grated Parmesan as you like, some basil and parsley, give it a taste, and we are done. For Tuesday's dinner, I am making sweet chili salmon. I'm going to start by making some rice. We prefer basmati rice. I use 2 parts water and 1 part rice that has been washed. I just let the water come to a boil, then added the rice, cover, and we're going to cook this on the lowest setting. Then I'm going to give it a fluff. As you can see, you don't need a fancy rice cooker. A small pot will work just fine. So I saw a young lady, her page is called Sauced Up Food on TikTok. She was cutting her salmon and it reminded me of how I like to eat my mango, sort of like into this hedgehog cut. So you just score your salmon lengthwise, then you're going to cut it crosswise. And now you're just going to season it with whatever you like. I added some salt, pepper, ginger powder, and garlic powder. Just make sure that you season on both sides. Next, you're going to add some thinly sliced butter in between the scores. That looks so good already. And now I'm just going to cook the salmon fillets in the air fryers for 400 degrees for 12 minutes. You can also broil it during the last 3 minutes of cooking. In the meantime, I'm going to make the sauce, mince some garlic. Then I added equal parts honey and sweet chili sauce into a pan. Add some soy sauce, some minced garlic, rice vinegar, or lime juice would be amazing in this as well. Now you're just going to cook this until thickened for a few minutes and set it to the side. For our veggies, add some oil into a hot pan and add some green beans. Let this cook for a few minutes uninterrupted. You want to sear this, and then you're going to add some minced garlic, some salt, pepper, and you are done. We're going to keep the veggies simple, y'all. The salmon is now done, and let's plate this up. By the way, guys, the plate that I'm showing you is my portion. My family went ahead and ate their food. I don't want them to wait around until I finish filming this because I don't want their food to get cold. But this was our Tuesday's dinner. It was so delicious. On Wednesday, we went out for some Thai food. We ordered the crispy squid, some beef and chicken satay, chicken curry, fish with chili garlic sauce, and some papaya salad, of course, drunken fried rice, and pad see ew, and we had enough for leftovers for lunch the following day. On Thursday, I made one of my favorite dishes, shrimp etouffee. Start off by peeling the shrimp. You're actually going to use that to make the stock for the base of this meal. So don't buy shrimp that's already peeled. And now I'm just going to rinse everything. Season the shrimp with some Cajun seasoning, some garlic powder, Old Bay, and a little bit of salt, and set it to the side. For the stock, add 6 cups of water into a pot, a half of an onion, a half of a lemon, a head of garlic, 2 bay leaves, and the shrimp peel, and let this come to a soft boil and simmer for at least 30 minutes. In the meantime, let's dice up a half of an onion, 1 bell pepper, and some celery. This is also known as the Holy Trinity. You're also going to mince some garlic, lots of it, some tomatoes, some parsley, and green onion. Once the stock has been cooking for 30 to 45 minutes, you are going to drain it and just discard everything else. Into a skillet, add 4 tablespoons of butter, a 1/4 cup of flour. We are making a roux. You have to be patient when making a roux and not be tempted to increase the heat to make this process faster. You want to cook this on low heat until it turns into the color of peanut butter. Now add the onion, bell pepper, and celery. Cook for about 5 minutes, and then add the garlic. Now slowly add the stock while stirring the veggies. Add just a little bit at a time. I don't like it too thick, but that's just my preference. Season it with some salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, smoked paprika, cayenne pepper, and dried thyme, or basically Cajun seasoning, but I like to add it myself so I can control how much cayenne to put in there. A few dashes of Worcestershire sauce, 2 bay leaves, and you're just going to let this cook for about 10 to 15 minutes. Now you're going to add your shrimp, the tomatoes, and we're just going to cook this about 7 minutes. We don't want to overcook the shrimp. Just give it a stir and just let it sit there. I like to eat this on a bed of rice with some green onion and some hot sauce on top. This is like one of my favorite meals, and it is a labor of love because it takes forever, but it tastes so much better the next day. And this was our Thursday's dinner. On Friday, at this point, I had no idea what I was going to make. I just knew that we had like 3 carrots in the fridge that needed to be used, so I just started cutting them up. I find cutting veggies comforting because it gives me time to figure out what it is I'm trying to make, because I had no clue. I also had some green onion, and I'm just going to slice this up, separate the green and the white parts, and mince up a whole bunch of garlic. And these are the sauces that I'm going to be using. If you cook a lot of Asian food, these are the basic sauces that you should have in your pantry, along with like oyster sauce, fish sauce, and a couple of more I can't think of right now. Here I'm just concocting the ingredients for the sauce, giving it a stir, and now we are ready to cook our pasta. I am using spaghetti. You just cook that per package directions, and make sure to add some salt into the water. Into a wok, here I'm just adding 1 pound of ground turkey. You can use whatever ground meat that you have, and I'm just going to add some Chinese cooking oil, some soy sauce, and some cornstarch. Cook this until it is no longer pink. Set it to the side, add a little bit of oil, and we're going to add our garlic and the white parts of the green onion. Cook this for about a minute and just mix it in with the meat. And now I'm just going to add the carrots, and I also ended up using a bag of spinach because I needed to use that. Add the spaghetti and the sauce, and we're just going to stir this up. You want to move quickly when you're stir frying, and I have the heat on high, and so now I just want to make sure that the spaghetti is coated with the sauce. I love making stir fry because you really can't go wrong, and you can pretty much use whatever protein or veggies that you have available. And now I'm just going to give this a taste. Everything tasted good, and I'm going to add it to my plate, and that was our Friday night's dinner. On Saturday, my kids wanted pizza, so we went out for Neapolitan pizza. We just ordered the pepperoni, cheese, salad. I don't remember what this appetizer was, but it was really good. And you can't go wrong with pizza on a Saturday night, right? I tried to make our dinner more special on Sunday, so when I saw this recipe for Alfredo potatoes, I knew I had to make it. I'm going to link the recipe below. It reminded me of scalloped potatoes, but better. So start by mixing some milk, heavy cream, butter, salt, pepper, and garlic powder into a small pot. Make sure not to let this come to a boil, we just want it warmed. Peel and slice your potatoes thinly. As you can see, I just added some into a buttered dish. Then I added 1/3 of the mixture, some mozzarella, some white cheddar, and Parmesan, and we're just going to layer this. So basically this is going to be 3 layers. So start off with the potatoes, 1/3 of the milk mixture, some cheeses, add another layer of potatoes, another 1/3 of the milk mixture, some cheeses, and then this is now the last layer, and I'm just going to add the rest of whatever's left over in the milk mixture, some more cheeses and Parmesan, and we're going to bake this at 400 degrees for about 45 to 50 minutes. So I know everyone has heard of Hasselback potatoes, but have you ever heard of Hasselback carrots? So I just started off by peeling the carrots and putting it in between chopsticks and slicing it thinly. What happens is the chopsticks stops you from cutting it all the way through, and now we're just going to slice it all the way towards the end like this. If you have great knife skills, you probably don't need the chopsticks. You just want to make sure that you don't cut it all the way through. And now I'm just going to add about 1/4 cup of olive oil, some salt, pepper, minced garlic, smoked paprika, a little bit of honey, pretty much whatever seasoning that you want. Mix it together, and we're going to brush the carrots with this, making sure that you get deep inside in between the slices of the carrots. And we're going to bake this in the oven with the potatoes for 30 minutes. Here I have some ribeye steaks, and I'm just seasoning it with salt and pepper. You know, people are always like, why do you only season with salt and pepper? That's all steaks need, just salt and pepper. And make sure you just season liberally and let it sit at room temperature for at least 15 minutes. Here I'm just adding some grapeseed oil into a hot skillet, and now you just cook your steak to your liking. I think I went with like 3 minutes on each side. Add some butter, some garlic cloves, some rosemary, and just spoon that over the steak. Let it rest, and this is how I like my steak. I actually like it a little bit more rare than this, but this was good. And now the potatoes are done. Look at that. Oh my god, this was so ridiculously good. I can eat that on its own. The carrots are done. I ended up cooking this for 40 minutes. Sprinkle some parsley on top. Then I'm plating my plate, and that is it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I will see you next time. Bye.